Here, take this ecstasy really fast. Hey everybody, happy Friday, and welcome back to our weekly webcast wrap-up. I guess we all made it through the week, and I hope everyone is having a fantastic one, hoping to do something fun and exciting this weekend. Today I decided to wear a hat to mix it up for my good friend Mike Downing here, who joined us today on the show. Say hello, Mike.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
I said say hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
I actually had a critic of a friend of mine who does media stuff. She'd been on the news for years, contact me and say, wow, you look really pasty and horrible in your webcast. And I said, wow. She also said, get a haircut. And I haven't had a chance to get a haircut, so I wore a hat today. Sorry, Nina. We'll get this buttoned up, buddy. Next time you're in the office, you can yell at me for looking like a pasty lump of melting hippo. Anyway, so Mike is with us today. Mike is the founder of Downing Multimedia and a great helper, supporter, colleague, strategic partner, family member of Post Launch. Does that sum it up?
Yeah. Does
all sorts of stuff. Mike is one of the geniuses one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and he really, really specializes in the area of online ad buys, inclusive of social media ad buys, inclusive of search engine ad buys, AdWords through Google, Bing, Yahoo, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the whole gamut. We have the opportunity to work with Mike on a couple dozen projects at any given time, and I can tell you this guy knows his shit.
Thanks.
So,
good to hear.
Give me a little bit of background on how you sort of got into the space of online ad management, online ad buying, online ad.
Go back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start with when your parents made love and conceived you.
Right. And then moved out, from Washington, D.C. and everything. Now, when I came out here and I started a business, I had it was a video transfer business, post-production, multimedia, all kinds of things. And one of the things that I really got interested in was working with AdWords online, because I was getting a lot of business from it. Just posted up a couple of keywords, a couple of ads.
Right.
Made some really good money off of it and everything. So
right.
I decided that that's kind of what I wanted to do. So went back to school and finished up a marketing degree.
Cool.
But then afterwards I decided that I would go ahead and partner up and start a marketing business.
Nice.
So
that's great.
Yeah. Really focusing on ad buys, like you say.
And you've been doing it for how long now?
So since you mean the experience in advertising like that?
Yeah. The online ad.
I'd say about 7 years.
7 years. So how much have you seen the marketplace change?
It's ridiculous. It changes like daily.
Right.
Right.
So new opportunities, things that you never even think about, that we stumble across on a regular basis, that we can say, hey, you should buy ads on pre-roll on YouTube, right? Video ads before the videos that you watch. When I go online and I want to watch my Katy Perry playlists, and I have to watch Geico commercials, Geico's spending money to get those in advance. And what happens is there's a whole strategy, there's a whole math behind even doing something like that. It sounds pretty simple. It sounds like you should be able to just put something out there and get it in front of videos, but realistically, to be done right, it's somewhat complex, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's all kinds of factors that go into it. Market segmentation, all kinds of trying to figure out who's watching what video, when, if they are interested in it, are they going to be interested in your end product once they get to your website?
Right.
So the video might catch your attention if you do a pre-roll, like you say, but a lot of times as you watch those videos, you have no clue what the product is.
Right.
So you're never going to click through. So that's one of the goals, is to try and get people to actually click and view and see what your product is.
Got it. So I've heard some of the tactics that are really, really effective. And we all know that there's some videos you can skip and some you can't.
Right.
And you probably pay more for a video that you can't skip. But a video that you can skip, if one of the best tactics that I've heard and often pitch is that you got to get your ask in the first 5 seconds.
Right.
Because if they're going to skip you in 5 seconds, they better know who you are and why I should click on you before they skip. And even if they do skip at that point, hopefully enough of that has gotten stuck up here that it's going to hit them up after the fact.
Right.
Now, speaking of hitting them up after the fact, once they consume those videos, we can go through and do some crazy, awesome retargeting stuff, right?
Right. That's always the best part about, especially once you've paid to acquire somebody,
Right.
you hope that you're going to convert them into a customer. So
Right.
you might as well just continue to hit them, time and time again right after that.
Right. So a great example, when you go online and shop for strawberry lube, and then the ads for strawberry lube just chase you around the internet all the time, and multi-device, right? They're hitting your cell phone, they're hitting your stuff, and you're like, wow, those strawberry lube guys are really hammering it home.
Right.
I can't wait for my junk to smell like strawberry lube.
Can I get 2 days shipping?
Right. Hand delivered tomorrow.
Right.
So one of the things, Mike, have you always been an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there are time periods where I've done other things, but
Okay.
yeah, over a period of getting close to 20 years now,
Isn't that
different
weird?
businesses and all kinds of different things.
We're roughly the same age, and I hate saying stuff like that.
I know.
That I've done anything for 20 years.
Well, it
It's
started off
weird.
10 ago, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, it can't be 10. It's got to be, and you count it up and you're like, 18 years?
Right. It's insane, right? Getting old is the pits.
Right.
I can't even walk around the office without looking like we used to look at my dad and be like, Dad, why are you limping all the time? Why are your feet hurting? What's going on? But so being in the space, seeing things change on a regular basis, and there's always new things to try and new things to do. And one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit further down in the broadcast, but one of the things that's really kind of important when you're starting to think about this stuff is how incredibly complex it can be to manage an online account. And at Post Launch, we did an article this week, a newsletter article went out about taking your $100 AdWord gift card and burning it. Anytime you're setting up a Google My Business, Google Places, Google whatever account, you're going to get AdWords credit in the mail.
Right.
And it sounds great. You're like, wow, $100, that's great. That's $100 I don't have to spend on advertising. The reality is, if you don't know what you're doing, that $100 is going to, if you just throw it at your AdWords, you're going to rip through it in a day and not see any success and be burned out by the entire experience. If you take the time to really try to figure it out on your own, you're committing, I would say, a minimum 15 hours, right?
Yeah.
To really understand the complexities of how to best buy
minimum.
ads. Yeah. And that's if you have some sort of background in the ad space. What's going to resonate? What's going to work? What's going to not? If you have someone to do the graphics for you to make it look good. If you have understanding of what a call to action looks like. If you have an understanding of ad copy to hook people in. Plus, if you're presenting visual ads, you have to present them in dozens of different formats and ways because different places that take those ads will lay them out in different areas.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And with the first $100 especially, a lot of people don't even think about those visual ads. They don't think about using display networks, or they do use display networks, but they only create text ads.
Right.
And they're missing an entire field of potential ad spaces for it.
Right.
So it's the first $100. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
But that's what they figured. You're gonna use that. But a lot of people get frustrated with it, and they end up just
Right.
abandoning it.
Right. So what I see, at Post Launch where we do web marketing, I have clients every single week probably that come, oh, hey, I got this in the mail.
Right.
Can we use this? And I say, I can use it. And then I take it and pick my teeth with it in a car and throw it in the street.
Right.
I'm not a litterer. I'm just kidding. I throw it in the trash. I recycle it. I roll a doobie with it and blaze it out. I don't really do that stuff. So
Put this out over here.
I know, right? We get to have fun with this stuff, but really it can be one of the most important things in your business. I don't want to jump too far into it now because I want to get down into why you should really take a good hard look at paying some money to advertise on the line.
On the line?
On the line.
Online.
On the line.
Online.
All right, let's hop into a couple things that happen around the news. Did you see that we have our own newspaper, Mike? It has our own logo, so you know it's ours.
And it's called The News? Or
Yes.
just News?
News. And there's a big D in the front. So the news with a big D and a big G. That could be Downing and Jeffrey, right?
Yeah.
Mike's last name is Downing, in case you guys missed it on his intro slide. So let's hop around a couple different things that were happening on the web this week that we thought were kind of fun. Google Maps is now dropping in icons from The Legend of Zelda. Because Legend of Zelda, is it their 30-year anniversary? 20-year anniversary? It's been a
Gotta be
minute.
30.
Yeah. So Google, in all its funness, decided that they would drop little link icons on different maps. And there's actually an interactive map that is being published out there. If you go and you look it up, where Link is going around the world and where all the different relevant castles were. He's got them in England, he's got them in different places, and he's going around and actually exploring the world, which is really kind of fun, I think. When stuff comes, it's a nice throwback. And I always think to it, because that stuff resonates with me. Did you play Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, not as much as Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
Right.
Legend of Zelda was one that I always loved, because it was complex. It was a puzzle game with action put into it.
I did play it on the Game Boy, which was completely different.
Right. Yeah, it was 2D, just side scroll, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like the game Kung Fu. Remember that? Did you ever play that one on the NES?
That was awesome.
That was a fun game. Just mindless button mashing, right? And you had 2 buttons. One was punch, one was kick, and then up to jump.
Some of those old games, those are fun. Not to get off topic too much, but it was always funny when you would buy some of the cheap versions of Nintendo games,
right?
Because they were pretty much developed but not completed.
Yeah.
So there was no end to the game.
Right.
So I remember Robot something or other I ended up buying once, and then, you get to the end and there's no end. There's no way to finish the game, and you're just completely...
It just stops? Or it just keeps going and going?
It goes, but there's no goal.
Oh.
So you just walk around.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Anyway.
You were clearly way more into finishing the games than I was. I was always about the initial experience. I was lucky enough that one of my best friends when I was probably middle school, or my formative NES years, his parents owned a pawn shop in the town we were in.
Oh, nice.
So every Saturday, they were closed on Sunday because I grew up in Idaho. Every Saturday we'd go and we would take like 30 cartridges, games you've never heard of, and his parents would just buy them and sell them in the shop. They'd buy them for $3 and sell them for $5. But man, we had endless. And then Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 and all of these really fantastic games.
Oh, Mario Kart always started fights.
Yes.
What a competitive game.
Yeah, we'd have Mario Kart when I was in undergrad here at UNLV. We would spend hours, weekends, the entire thing, just having contests. We did brackets and stuff.
Right.
And whoever got Toad, he was the fastest one, right?
Yeah, Toad was always good. They were paired off pretty much, right?
Right.
With abilities and speed and everything. So you had like Donkey Kong and Bowser.
Yep.
And then Princess and, was it Mario? Or no, it was Mario and Luigi.
Mario and Luigi were pretty... Well, I thought Luigi was a little bit faster, but Mario had some better control or something, and then like Koopa was super slow.
Right.
But he was a brute.
Knock everybody out of the way.
Yeah,
I always picked Toad.
Right, yeah, me too. It was all about the speed.
Right.
All about the speed in college. So I thought it was pretty cool. From a video game culture growing up, it's kind of neat for these these large companies to do some fun stuff like this from time to time. Also, sort of rolling around the net, taking a totally turn for something a bit more adult. Pornhub, one of the largest porn websites that's out there, released the most watched category by state through this stuff, and I hope you guys can kind of see this. Looks like the American Southwest, where we are, is really sort of into this big sort of lesbian stuff, and then it comes up through the Midwest. People here, I'm not even sure. That's Colorado, so that's, how do I not know my states? I've been watching too much lesbian porn, clearly. Cartoon stuff in the Midwest. I was sort of blown away. We've got Tennessee, and that's, gosh, well, I can't even know my states, but lots of cartoon porn that seems to be going on through some of these Midwestern and Southern states.
How about the Outlier?
Outlier? MILF?
MILF.
It's got to be Delaware, right?
It looks like it, yeah. Oh, no, that's, that's Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Rhode Island is all about their MILFs. And lots of stepsisters, lots of incest stuff, which is kind of weird. My home state of Idaho was about the lesbians, and now Nevada's about the lesbians, so. What was your favorite, Mike?
Yeah, I'll stick with the status quo in Nevada there. So
you'll say, yeah, that sounds like the best kind of stuff.
Well, one of the funny things we talked about, there's a real-time search or real-time display of the search results for or the search queries for porn, and you can view what people are actually looking for. And after we talked about it, I went and looked it up, and I saw the craziest thing to me was egg laying.
Really?
I had to go to Urban Dictionary to look it up.
Really?
And it had nothing to do with porn, so it was probably just some kind of off the wall search for something. But
that's funny. What's that URL?
I forget. We did a search for it, but yeah, there you go.
This was this is kind of funny, and PornMD. And it's, I don't know if there's actually any stuff on here, but this is this is the original. This is getting awfully blue for this webcast. But these are the things that people are typing in right this second, right? This is insane. This is worldwide.
And it's like an addiction like Facebook where you just keep scrolling or, you keep viewing it.
Right. We'll move right on. But yeah, that was kind of interesting stuff that they would release that all over the country. It's part of the porn pun. Pardon the porn pun. Should make a T-shirt out of that. Let's move on to something a bit cooler than porn searches. Monkeys control a wheelchair with just their thoughts via wireless tech. Now, if I was a monkey in a wheelchair, I would be super thrilled right now. But when you consider, the ramifications of building out something like this, we're on an Internet of Tech world where all sorts of things are possible. Using thought, using brainwaves. I saw some cool stuff at the Consumer Electronics Show this year, where they would have cars with inward-facing cameras, and it could measure your level of anxiety based on the way your face was right now. Huh. So if you're like this, if you look like you're trying to make a big giant poop. Hopefully the car is going to say, "Hey, man, you better chill out."
Right.
I'm not sure what they're
to a gas station.
Right. I'm not sure what they're doing with that data. It didn't actually get through to that point, but the fact that they're tracking everything about everyone is sort of interesting. But getting back to brain controlling of mechanical devices, I think is really pretty interesting. The slippery slope is that when it becomes just commercially available, where we start to think and stuff happens, right? Do we stop needing to do other things? You remember the movie WALL-E?
Right.
Where all the Earthlings are just like these
fat slobs.
Yeah, boneless fat slobs that float around in there. Right, right. So yeah, I mean, it's really pretty cool. It's amazing tech, and when you consider the opportunity, I mean, the things that can be done with a mind connected to a machine. Not a true singularity, right? But something where you can actually maybe send a machine into a war zone or industrial disaster and be the one thinking and interacting and saving lives and helping to build stuff and create stuff would be pretty fantastic and pretty awesome. Obviously, giving mobility to people who don't have mobility, and ALS being the disease they reference in this, where your mind is still functioning but your body doesn't. Giving people the ability to interact with their world, I think, is really pretty fantastic. Yeah. But I want to caution people that WALL-E is probably the view of the future if we get too far down that line, right?
About 5 minutes away.
Right.
So, yeah, I did. So they're talking about paralysis and ALS.
Yep.
And another function of it would be for amputees.
Right.
So I remember watching a 60 Minutes thing where they would actually tap into the brain.
Right.
And create, fake hands that can move based on brain waves.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. So it's pretty close.
Do you watch the show Limitless?
No, not yet.
They had an episode
I'm
on that.
Gonna wait till I can binge on it.
It's great. They did have an episode where they had a mind-controlled prosthetic, and it got hacked.
Oh, right.
And the guy couldn't stop it from killing his spouse, essentially.
Interesting legal case.
Right. So yeah, that was kind of neat. I would be.
What's the warranty on that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a medical malpractice suit at that point, or if it's actually just something that you're going to have to deal with. Your prosthetic limbs getting hacked, if they are Internet of Things connected. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you can hack a limb?
No.
No.
I couldn't hack my own computer.
I know, right? It's kind of funny. I'm sure somebody's going to figure it out.
Forget my password every once in a while.
And then they call you and text you and yell at you, and what are you going to do?
Right.
It's all good stuff. Let's hop into our viral video of the week. This one was one that I like to think I broke. I saw it within 4 hours of it being published. And this is a fantastic YouTube channel. If you find yourself with a couple hours to kill, I'm going to recommend you go and subscribe to Bad Lip Reading on YouTube. It is so fantastic. And the story I heard behind it is that a guy, he lost his hearing later in life, so he couldn't hear, and he decided to learn how to read lips, only he was really bad at it to start. So this channel has probably not 100, but maybe dozens of videos where this guy would just do lip reading, write down what he saw, and then they have actors do the voices of the lip reading, and it is fantastic. This one came out this week. This was published 3 days ago on March 1st. It's already got more than 3 million views.
Nice.
I wanted to say I was first, but I was only like one of the first 100,000s.
It's almost guaranteed to be funny when it's over 1 million.
Yes. So without further ado, let's pop into this. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
I'd like to stick garden gnomes in this building. Oh, hi. Dad will find you soon. Not sure you'll be remembered. You're the devil. The little boy has like 1,000 freckles, and everybody's all like there's goobers on his body. I'm done listening.
Ted's always kind of freaky. Human hair. First one to say, let's go out and eat hair.
It's wonderful now and again. If there's one thing our country doesn't need more of, it's goose diarrhea. I heard you got orange rugs here.
That's a lie.
Hey, could you cut me a rug here?
A rug?
Yeah, an orange one.
No, we don't make them.
I know. This one's a classic. Jordan the centipede taught me a card trick. Thank you. You got happy cheer. Look. I went down to the summer camp and took a can of gasoline.
Don't light the cabins on fire.
I wish I could, but it's too late.
Doesn't that mean you go to jail?
No, because I ran away. You know what? I just love to twerk. Holla, 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 holla. I've been testing out some new campaign slogans that are a little less obvious. I need a bogle for the glotch. Stop evolution. Your face isn't my face. That old man just took your sport. If you want boyfriend time, then you must be a girlfriend. I hate pervy records. I want to use that. I made a hole and then barfed on the beach. I made a hole and then barfed on the beach. I made a hole and then barfed on the beach. This great nation's like a pork pie. Juicy and American. Gabe? Hey, who hates cigarettes?
I do.
Hooray for you. Now, originally Heidi wanted to marry a different fella. She wanted Herbert Spinecki.
Yeah, he was into football. Herbert was beautiful. He was just always very open and sensuous with me, you know? Like on the weekend, he'd bring fruit and lay by the fire with me and tell me I looked like a French model.
What? Why did you even tell them that?
He's still a really close friend. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. He's in the kitchen right now.
Wait, he's here?
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? Yeah, whatever. At least I know she's mine. I don't want to ask who the baby daddy. I need a bogle for the glotch.
Don't make us kiss now.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, as you can, I mean, it's just great. It's fun. It's goofy, but it went viral because it connects on an emotional level. We're probably so tired of seeing so much stuff.
Right.
I mean, every single person I talk to is saying, I'm so tired of this election. I'm so tired of, the campaigning. This is great. I could watch this all day long.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially after last night's debate.
Did you watch the debate?
I did. About half of it.
Right.
Just had to turn it off. Anyway, these are funny, and you have to watch them like 2 or 3 times because usually you miss like half the jokes because you're laughing so hard.
Right.
But it's great. so all the NFL ones they've done and everything, I watched a number of them.
Right.
But this was perfect because it sounded like Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
You know, at least with the NFL players, it's like a goofy voice, and you know it's hilarious and everything. But they get a voice that sounds almost like Ted Cruz there.
Right. I always thought it'd be super fun to make a bunch of goofy videos for YouTube, but I don't have time.
We're doing that right now, right?
I know, right? But we're going to talk about something relevant at some point, right? Soon, I promise. Everybody stay tuned. It's about to get relevant. Not immediately relevant, but we're going to get relevant shortly. All right, so we're back with our website sucks portion. And if anybody has any bad websites they want to send over to us, throw us on social media, tag us at PostLaunch, and use the hashtag #badwebsites. This graphic is on purposely bad. You see how it's all washed out, the W on top, just because it is fun to make bad jokes when you're having bad graphics.
You'll have to do a couple of versions with different green screen background type deals.
Yeah, that works out good. Mike is volunteering to come and make production video stuff for us.
With
All
my
right.
iPhone.
Here we go. I'm going to jump into this one. This was an individual that I met this week. Came by, asked for some help on a couple different things we've got going on. Actually didn't ask for help on their website, but I want to pull it apart because I had his business card on the top of my pile, and we get to do this on a regular basis. If you've seen this show ever, we always talk about the 4 things that are most important. Who we are, what we do, why do business with us, and how to do business with us. A couple of things that we look at to make sure that people are getting the most bang for their buck. On this site, who we are is A&G audio. Okay, that's nice and clear. Second, voice talent and audio production is what we do. That's sort of ambiguous if you don't really know what those things are. If I'm going to land on this website and say, hang on, what's going on here? Voice talent, audio production. I can read this, but people don't read. We know right out of the gate that people do not read. Who we are, what we do. So the big missing piece here is why do business with us? Why should I call you? Why is your company going to be the best? I've decided that I need voice talent for something. I don't know what it could be, but the reality is that I gotta find a voice talent person. I'm gonna start that search online. I'm gonna type in voice talent Las Vegas, voice talent for casinos, voice talent based with with an accent, with some sort of derivative, so that we can find a quality person. This site fails in those areas because it doesn't really let me find out why I should do business with you. Next, we get to the bottom, the calls to action, contact, portfolio, voice talent, search. So is this just a splash page for a searching thing? And what the F is with this rotating image on the background? I'm not sure how it's even relevant to anything.
That's what I was going to say, the relevancy of an image.
Right.
The first thing people see is a picture.
Yeah.
And if they come to this website, they don't see what they're looking for. They might leave right away.
Yes. Within 10 seconds, typically, right?
Right.
To explain who we are, what we do, why do business with us, and how to do business with us. I've had this site up now for about half an hour because I was prepping it before the show. A simple live chat thing on here, if this is an actual legitimate business. But one of the other things that we look at to lend legitimacy to a business, and this is going to resonate time and time again, is do you have any active content happening? Are you putting stuff up there for a blog? If I don't see a blog, or I don't see that anything is even new to the site in months, I'm not probably even going to take the time to call. Second thing is social media. Social media is so important. I had a client the other day who was on the show, and the only reason they were getting business is because they had an active social profile. They do resident agent services and mail forwarding, and there's a lot of companies out there that do that stuff, but they are so remiss in their own content, so remiss in touching their own social platforms that people look at them and say, I don't think they're in business anymore. Why would I contact this company? Why would I contact this company? So these guys are getting 3 or 4 new clients a week simply because they keep an active social profile.
Nice.
And they never thought of it. They always, when they came and started working with us, they said, why the hell would I care about Facebook and Twitter? Well, the reality is that you should care because people look at those things.
Right. Yeah, quite often. Well, the most important thing, a lot of companies will start their social media profile, get things up, and the worst thing you can do is not be active.
Right.
Because now if somebody finds your website, they might click through, and if they don't see anything posted since 2009,
right,
they might think you're closed.
Right.
And they just find somebody else.
I'm going to show you something that I was looking at early this morning. I just happened to stumble across this article about some failed startups. And this was one that came up on the article, Pixable. I'm not 100% sure what they do. On their website, is now down, but this is their Facebook page. Their last post was in December when they closed their doors. They have 500,000 people liking their site. They've taken a round of funding. It was impressive, but this is some of the stuff that you see when you let your stuff fly. This is spammy stuff. Lifetime jail for having sex in Florida. Global news broadcast. If this is a real person, Jenny George, probably not. 2 first names is unlikely. I guess it happens though. But she's gone through, and in January, 3 weeks ago, she posted a link on their Facebook page to link over to something for some other media news source. It's a cool way to get traffic, and it's a cool way to engage with people. But the reality is that they're using this site now, and it's 500,000 followers for this defunct business to spam links and get people to come back to the site. Back to another reason to kind of keep your stuff up and to date. So Angie Audio, if you guys would like help, we'd love to talk to you. If you'd like help in growing your business, fixing your overall presentation, let's check to see if this site is mobile responsive. Great, it is, but the phone number is not where we're used to seeing it. We're used to seeing a logo, top right, phone number, contact information, top left. Whole lot of wasted space here. I'm not sure why, but huge opportunity to do this. Now, I want to get back to the rotating image thing for just a second. And this is something I struggle with for a lot of our clients. They're trying to find quality image for their image rotators, right? They want to get all these images in here. And I tell every single one of them, why? Why do you think that you want to have a rotating image on your site? Do you ever sit there and watch other people's rotating images? Do you think anyone actually sits there and watches your rotating images? And unless they're looking to consume visual content, which is, third reference to porn, or back to, a photography website, or if I want to look at, supercars or something I'm really into, the visual representation, it doesn't need to happen.
Right.
Rotating image like this, it just is a waste of time and effort. They're slower to load, so your page time is slow. Oftentimes, we see that people actually get penalized because Google can't really read those images.
Right.
All it has is a slider reference or a rotating code snippet reference, and you can't SEO it because it's got 3 different images in it, or 4, or 5, or 10. We had a client that required 13 images on the rotating slider at one point. And
who sits there long enough to see all 13? Or even 3?
I made that argument 400 times with them. I said, nobody's going to watch these. Well, we don't care. We want more. Why is my page so slow? Because you're trying to load up every single image you've ever taken ever.
And good luck with the mobile site.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So ANG Audio, your website is not great. All right, gang. Let's get on to the crux of this discussion. Complexity of Google AdWords, and we touched on it a little bit, but I want Mike to add into this, and I'm going to run you through my own personal experience in utilizing Google AdWords and some of the things that I found out that you, as the expert that live and breathe this stuff, I mean, we as a firm, as a collective group, have some expertise in this, but when it comes time to the first time you touch an AdWords account, set one up, it is really pretty scary. I did this for my wife's dental practice. I set up her first AdWords account. I worked with her internal person to set up her AdWords account. We didn't know. She's a pediatric dentist. So we were going through and buying words like kids, right? She's a pediatric dentist in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we were buying on a national level the word kids for $18 a click or some ridiculous amount.
And a few days later you checked it and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Well,
how much money have we spent on this?
It was a long time because nobody was monitoring it, and that's another thing that's really pretty important. Going through and setting up, we looked through our stuff, picked 5 or 10, manually entered them in. Kids came up, toothbrush came up. For some reason, the word bacon got in there. I'm not 100% sure, but the site was actually pulling quite a bit of traffic from the keyword bacon.
Right. You're like, wow, we've had 10,000 visitors.
Right. And it was a pretty light budget, $500 a month or something, to kind of just put our toes in the water. And it ran for a year. And then somebody one day was like, hey, is this actually doing anything? And we're like, I don't know. How do we track that? How do we know? How do we figure it out? So where you would do it differently, coming in, and let's take the same example, so pediatric dentist. What are some of the steps that you take to make sure that you're optimizing that ad buy?
Well, probably one of the first things I would do is a competitive analysis.
Okay.
And specifically for the reason of finding keywords that work for other people and, proper ads, maybe even some of their landing pages that they have.
Right.
But the reason I look at competitors is they've already spent all that money. They've already wasted a ton of money to figure out how it
Right.
works. And so you've got a good base there.
Right.
And you can also look through, analytics is a great tool just because you can get the search queries, how people found your website,
Right.
and realize what people are looking for.
Right.
So you might think pediatric dentist would be the best keyword possible,
Right.
or kids dentist,
Right.
But then you go through and you find just organically that everybody's finding kids tooth extraction.
Yeah.
It might be something that you never thought of.
Right.
So analytics is a great tool for that. But,
Baby's first visit to the dentist and stuff. Now,
Right.
when you talk about a competitive analysis, you can look at competitors locally, but also even on a national level, right? In similar sized markets, and say, hang on, these guys are showing up. These guys are clearly buying ads.
Right.
And that piece. Now, competitively, finding the keywords is really kind of step one, and then deciding how to present that ad,
Right.
those ads, right? Because we have textual ads that show up, at the top, and then I hear Google's getting rid of the ads on the right hand side.
It's already done.
Okay, wow.
They're already gone. So
Wow, that
they've
was
added,
quick.
they added 4 ads on top, and now they've got ads on the bottom as well. So you have to be pretty competitive now to be able to get up there because they're trying to make it more a similar experience to mobile.
Got it.
So they got rid of all the stuff on the side, unless Google My Business and things like that. But all the ads on the side are gone now.
Okay. So in that space, if you've seen, since that happened, and this is also a side question now, since that happens, have you seen the people who were trying to land in that 4th and 5th spot? Has their business just tanked because the ads are gone?
Or
not their business.
they've
but
adjusted.
Okay.
And now they're in that 4th spot still, but they're at least on top.
Got it.
So if you're not trying to get in the top 3,
Uh-huh.
then you might or might not show in that 4th spot. So there's a different balance to it now.
Okay.
But for the most part, if people are paying attention to it, then they've made that adjustment.
Good. Now, let's talk about the visual side. And, well, I want to touch on one more thing. We had the opportunity to do AdWord analysis for a real estate agent in Las Vegas who was spending, a semi-healthy budget, almost $4,000 a month on ad buys in Las Vegas. And one of the things that I know a lot of people don't look at, because we take over AdWords accounts on a regular basis, is something called negative keywords. Right. And those are the keywords that you intentionally don't want to have associated with your ads. Now, Google by default will try to associate your ads with as much as possible for 2 reasons. They want you to get the most amount of visibility, and they want you to spend the most amount of money. Right.
They want you to be successful.
Right.
Because then you spend more.
Right. So now the 4th or 5th reference to porn. One of the things that we found was porn real estate agent. These guys were buying the term porn real estate agent. They weren't a porn real estate agent.
Right.
But because of the popularity of the search term porn and with real estate agent, they were wasting money essentially to market to that term.
Right.
So
yeah, probably porn is always one of the ones that you want to make sure is in your negative keyword list, unless you actually do porn. But then the other one, as the best example I can give, is jobs.
Right.
So people looking for a real estate job.
Right.
You don't want them clicking on your ad to find out that you're trying to sell a home.
Right.
When they're looking for a job.
Right.
You go to Craigslist for that, but people still do searches for that. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure jobs, porn, things of that nature.
Right.
Things that aren't relevant to what you're selling.
Yeah. That same account, that same real estate agent had actually been buying they were paying money to be listed under the worst real estate agent in Las Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. Probably not what you want.
No, you don't want to spend your ad dollars on that. Now,
or maybe put your competitor there.
There you go. You could buy ads to send to their page.
Right.
So that's a good segue. I want to ask about that because I see a lot of people who sort of piggyback on each other's brand. And brand owners, company managers, company owners get really upset about that. Right. How can they buy my name? How can they buy my name? What do you have a resolution that you typically work with, or you say, listen, they can...
It's just, beat them out, rank higher,
Right.
try to, because for the most part, their ad's not going to be relevant,
Right.
so it's not going to rank very high.
Right.
So you just make a more relevant ad and push theirs down.
Okay.
That's a good strategy for it. The quality score is a big issue with that because if they're, they can buy your name as a keyword, but they can't put your name as a copyrighted name into an ad.
Got it.
So they can manipulate the ad a little bit and everything, but
Right.
It's not going to hurt you as much. You want to do the same thing to other people though.
Gotcha.
So if you've got competitors, you want to rank on their names as
Right,
well.
right.
So sell the product. What is it? Furniture. Like it's hard. You can target a keyword lazy boy,
Right.
but you can't have lazy boy in the ad.
Right.
So you would want to try to grab their attention somehow.
Okay.
And recliner or something like that.
Gotcha. That's pretty good. That's a good way to think about it.
Right.
Which becomes tough, right? Because now even what you've just said, the research, the opportunity, the negative keyword research, the competitive analysis research, the keyword research, we're at a day's worth of work already, right?
And then you have to think about, how do you know if it's working?
Right.
So
Right.
conversion tracking.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it too, and that gets into a lot of code. Just placing code on your website in different places.
Right.
Now you have to have multiple accounts with Tag Manager. You've got to have analytics. You've got to have conversion tracking in AdWords. You've got to have all kinds of different
Right.
code. So
Right.
sometimes people have to hire an IT guy or a developer to implement that code for them. But conversion tracking is a whole other animal.
Right. Because you do want to see how it works. It'll show you clicks to your website. It'll show you traffic. It'll show you bounce rates. But the ability to actually say, hey, am I actually getting customers off of this?
Right. Is it worth me putting the money into it?
And historically, a lot of industries or a lot of companies that have been phone based have said, I don't know. Are they clicking my ad? Are they finding me on different places? Are they doing stuff? But that's sort of a thing of the past, right? Because we can see when people actually call that phone number that gets set up through the conversion tracking.
Right. There are different ways to do it. You could set up a separate phone number per campaign that you're going to run,
Right.
or you can set up tracking on a number that, let's say you show an ad, well, you put a dynamic snippet of code on your website.
Right.
So if somebody clicks on the ad, it goes to a Google tracking number.
Right.
So they call that number, and now it's a conversion in AdWords.
Yeah.
So now you've shown that it works.
Yep. So it's not super difficult to do. It just takes an expert.
Right.
We, at the next site, let's talk about the next iteration of ads is, and this is how my brain thinks of it. Yours might think differently, but so you've gotten them to engage with you at some point, whether it's a text ad, a visual ad, an image-driven ad, or like a banner, or a video pre-roll. Now, what do we do if they haven't converted? So we start, the term is retargeting.
Right.
But in the most succinct way, in case there's people who don't really know what that means, how would you explain that to the world?
Right. So if you've acquired a potential customer,
Right.
they've gone to your website. The website, now you've got that conversion tracking, and it drops a cookie in their browser.
Right.
So now anywhere they go on the web, that cookie tells whatever website, so the website might offer advertising.
Right.
You got the little AdSense ads on the side,
Yeah.
ad choices, you'll see that little triangle icon that's in there.
Right.
And if that cookie is on your browser that shows that you went to this website, well, we can remarket to you.
Right.
And now we've retargeted you with an ad. So
Right.
we've created something. We just continue to show that ad to you on every website you go to that offers advertising.
Yeah.
Social media offers that as well. So
Right.
you can show that ad to them over and over and over again. Because a lot of people might go to a website and they're doing research on a product that they're purchasing.
Right.
And that's the first step, is go to your website.
Right.
You're now the first step in their research plan.
Right.
And if they go on to another website, they've found that maybe you had the best price, but they don't remember what your website was.
Right.
So you want to constantly remind them, hey, we've got the best price. If you didn't see it, here are some reviews.
Yeah.
We've got the best product, and just constantly remind them what it is that you can offer
Right.
that the competitors can't.
Right. And that gets that's relatively inexpensive, right?
Oh yeah, it's depending on the product.
Right.
So it can be I found with most clients currently that the cost for remarketing is lower than the initial acquisition bid.
Right.
So, but depending on the product could be something that's a high ticket item, and it's worth it to hit for twice the price of the acquisition.
Right.
So,
Right.
but for the most part, especially display.
Yeah.
Like if you're on display, there's RLSAs, which are the search remarketing.
Okay.
But if you're doing display remarketing, those are going to be less expensive.
Okay. And statistically, what the number that we typically work off of, and we did a case study with abandoned shopping carts. using retargeting display ads, you could capture something like 17% of those abandoned shopping carts. So the number's pretty high. Abandoned shopping carts online are roughly 70% industry statistic is what we found.
And if you can increase your business by 17%, I mean,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
It's massive, and it typically wouldn't cost much because this is a very limited subset. If 100 people hit your site and 3 of them are actually going to purchase, out of those 3, there's another 3. Well, let me do the math. There's another 2, right, that started a cart and didn't check out. So going back and retargeting to those 2 individuals is not going to cost you a whole lot.
No.
To be able to make sure that they're aware of a cart being there and incomplete and bring it back to the site.
Right.
So, with that in mind, if anybody is considering AdWords, looking at doing AdWords, Mike is on our team. Mike is in our office almost every day these days, right?
Right.
We'd be happy to do a free analysis, take a look at what you've got in place. There really, really is a lot of things to consider. And one of the things that I really like working with Mike on AdWords about is the fact that he is totally patient, and he knows, I'm sure you know that you know more than 99% of the people in the world, but he doesn't hold it over your head like I would. He sits there and takes the time to explain it, incredibly patient, and really, really does a fantastic job. Because of your marketing expertise, not just being a tech expert, it really shines through, I think, when we're looking at end-to-end. What do we need to do? Why is, if we're going back to display retargeting, this banner is going to work because the button is in contrast color to the rest of the ad and it's easy to read.
Right.
Versus someone going there and trying to slap something together with a phone number on it and in different shapes and sizes. Stuff is harder and harder to read.
Right.
There's really is an art form to making sure that what's out there is good and effective.
Exactly.
And then just to make things a bit more technical, if we get into split testing, right? If we're running an ad set, why not run 2 and see which one does best for a month and then toss that one and bring another one in?
Right.
Is really the best practice, right?
That's the optimization part of it. So, optimization is always ongoing, and you want to do the A/B testing. You constantly want to test it. Even if you've got something that works, you can always make it better.
Right.
So, and the only way to find out is test.
Yep. Perfect. So let's jump on to our final piece, our marketing tip of the week. And since we're talking about images on advertising, this is one that came across our plate the other day. This is a client that Post Launch is working with currently and helping something out. They took their big image from, I'm guessing, their website and just threw it into their Facebook page, and it wasn't optimized for the space available. So instead of saying beginner's class, we got Ginner's ass. Now, it actually might, Ginners or Ginners, how would you say it? Ginners, right? Ginners?
Ginners possibly, but yeah, maybe.
Either way.
That's funny though.
So
I can say the other one, ass.
Yeah, I can say ass. Ass seems pretty straightforward. It's kind of interesting because, it probably wasn't done on purpose, but when you look at the amount of people that were reached with that post, it's pretty significant. They're like, wait a minute, what is this stuff? So, it kind of resonates, but making sure, ultimately, they're not trying to get people laughing at their Facebook ad. They're trying to get people to come and sign up for the Ginner's ass. So, taking the time to make your images right are really important. Having someone who can be a resource for graphics on your team is really pretty important when putting all this stuff together.
Big time.
Cool. So, as we get to the end of our webcast, if you're interested in discussing any of the things that we talked about this week, you can get a hold of Mike at our office most of the time, right? 702-800-2131 is our office number. You can email mike@postlaunch.co if you're at all interested. If you're interested in learning more about what we do or being a guest on the show, give us a call. We'll be happy to make some stuff happen. We are it's 11:50 in Las Vegas, so should we start our weekend?
Yeah, let's do it.
When I used to, years ago I used
Outdoor.
to, right? Years ago I used to work with a bunch of people who, I sold sightseeing tours on the Hawaiian Islands, and I got introduced to the concept of Aloha Friday.
Okay.
Which means at noon on Friday, you stop working, you go to the beach.
Nice.
It was awesome. I loved it. And I had a Hawaiian coworker, and she had a great song about it. She's like, "It's Aloha Friday, no more work till Monday."
Every day.
And that was
11:59.
yeah, certainly every Friday at 11:59. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I try to do that, but if I take off on Friday, that just means I have to work Saturday.
That's true. That's true. No rest for the wicked, right?
Right.
So, thank you all for tuning in. Hope everyone enjoyed our shenanigans. I'm going to go ahead and link up some of the things we talked about here. I'm going to link up some screenshots of some AdWords. We'll send this out here. This will be available on YouTube to watch indefinitely, probably tomorrow. It usually takes about 24 hours to encode the live one and post it for us. We'll link it up on our site. Some more about Mike. We'll put your phone number and contact information there if people want to give you a holler.
Okay.
But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Have an awesome weekend. You also have an awesome weekend, Mike.
Thank you. You too. Aloha.
Aloha. Sometimes I do this. Put it back down.
Yeah, you can get the strobe light for sure.
Right? Just go strobe on this thing. It's a flashlight of strobe.
Flashlight on, flashlight off.
I feel like there was a strobe function, right? No? Nice.
The little box strobe light just